Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com. Former President Trump appealing the $454 million civil fraud judgment. And as we follow the murder case of Amanda Johnson, Fernando Acosta Jr.'s trial has been reset once again. That now rescheduled. Coming up next is that date. Also, a Palacios store is a victim of theft after two women got away with $1,800 worth of tools.
We got one more day of nice near summertime weather for today before the cold front arrives tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at that weather coming up.
The Victoria East head coach with quite the honor. Hear from him coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astroin.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 27th day of February 2024. The time is now just about 6:30 on our Tuesday morning, and it's National Pokemon Day.
Pokemon Day.
Yes, Pokemon is very big when I was in high school, Parker. I don't know if it skipped your generation.
No, it did not. It definitely did not. My siblings would fight for Pokemon. My siblings had like more than 5,000 to 6,000 cards.
I can engage in a Pokemon battle like right now. Like I could actually just verbally.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Pokemon?
My favorite has to be, I like Dragonair, but Butterfree.
Oh yeah, I think I'm
going
to go with
guaranteed win.
Oh really? I'm about to go. I would say Pikachu, but that's unoriginal. I'm going to go with Jolteon.
Oh, Jolteon.
I like the electric type Pokemon.
Yeah, that's Eevee evolves with a Thunderstone
or
to
Pichu.
Jolteon.
Pichu.
Yeah, love Pokemon.
Cool
Gotta
Pokemon.
catch them all, Parker.
Gotta catch them all.
All right, well, is it a good day to play Pokemon Go, to cautiously play Pokemon Go?
Yes.
I don't know if it's still
actually,
in service.
It is actually, oh yeah, because of the, that's right, I forgot about that. That was a while ago. But yes, if it is still around, it is a great day to go play that Pokemon Go. This could be a fantastic day outside. She's laughing at me behind the scenes there. That's actually a great time to go do that right now because it's quite nice out there this morning, folks. It's about 70 degrees. We're getting a little glimpse of like a summertime nighttime temperature, but with a dew point 64, 6 degrees off your temperature, you have an 81% humidity with the winds right now sustained at 16 miles an hour to the south. A little bit breezy, and that's going to continue for the rest of the day. Looking at your visibility right now, we were expecting a little bit of real light fog, but that's not really the case because it's a little bit windy out there, so there's no room for the fog to develop. But look at your weather headlines for the rest of this week. Today, going to be in the 80s and some in the 90s out west. Very nice, warm and humid day today, but it's going to be changing because they're going to have a windy day today and tomorrow, all ahead of that cold front coming our way tomorrow morning. But like I said, all of us enjoying that wonderful warm morning temperature, and with a warm morning, we're going to have a warm day today. Like I said, out west, y'all could get up to the 90s today. All that changing, all that coming our way before the cold front comes our way tomorrow morning with those breezy conditions today gusting right around 30, and that's going to continue tomorrow, probably gusting around 35, maybe even 40 after the front passes through. But coming up a little bit, we're going to take a look at the next system coming our next week and the timing of the front in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Breaking news for you this morning. A letter containing an unidentified white powder was delivered to the home of Donald Trump Jr. in Florida on Monday. The letter prompted a response from emergency crews, including a hazmat team. A spokesperson for the former president's son confirmed the incident, saying that test results to identify the white substance were inconclusive, but that officials on the scene did not believe it was deadly. According to the Associated Press, Donald Trump Jr. opened the letter in his home office, and along with the white substance, it also contained a death threat. The Palm Beach Sheriff's Office is investigating the matter in conjunction with the U.S. Secret Service. Now to another top story across the nation this morning. Donald Trump appealing his $454 million civil fraud judgment. The appeal challenges the finding that Trump lied about his wealth as he grew his real estate empire. Trump's lawyers argue that Judge Arthur Engoron committed errors of law and abused his discretion in his ruling against Trump, his company, and its top executives. If upheld, Engoron's ruling will force Trump to give up a sizable chunk of his fortune and could force the sale of some of the former president's most iconic holdings. The man who set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy on Sunday has died. The man was identified as an active airman in the U.S. Air Force. The airman filmed the incident and apparently yelled "Free Palestine" before collapsing to the ground. He was rushed to the hospital for treatment, but later succumbed to his injuries. 2 women got away with $1,800 worth of tools, and now the Palacios Police Department needs your help in tracking them down. Police released this photo of the women in action. This footage taken around 3:30 yesterday at Porter's Ace Hardware in Palacios. Police say the women got away in a white SUV or van. If you have any information, the Palacios Police Department wants to hear from you. You can contact them at the number on your screen. The Matagorda County Courthouse has reset the trial date once again for the man accused of killing Amanda Johnson. The trial now expected to get underway on the 21st of March. Fernando Acosta Jr. is the sole suspect in this investigation. He faces charges of tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and murder. Authorities discovered Johnson's body in a burned SUV in Matagorda County in April of 2021. She leaves behind 2 children. The man convicted of robbing a Victoria bank last year was sentenced to federal prison on Monday. Derek Taylor is sentenced to over 6 years in prison after he was convicted on 2 counts of bank robbery. Taylor was found guilty of robbing Prosperity Bank in the 7,000 block of Northeast Sacklands Parkway on February 2nd of last year, 2023. After completing his sentence, Taylor will be under a 3-year supervised release. He's also ordered to pay $2,560 in restitution to the bank. A Port Lavaca couple was at a stoplight Friday night when they saw a car crash into a swimming pool. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has more.
That car landed upside down in the Port Lavaca Municipal Swimming Pool. Joshua Santayana stopped his car in an effort to save a life.
So I came to the fence and I saw the truck flipped over.
The Port Lavaca Police Department says 22-year-old Alicio David Cruz is charged with DWI. Police say he lost control of the car, hit a palm tree, hit a fence, then landed upside down in the pool.
He was there for the side of the pool. I just ran across and I just grabbed him like this.
Santayana says his wife called 911 while he checked on the car.
He was kind of trying to swim to find the side of the pool because that's where the truck landed, in the pool. And I just went over and I grabbed him and I held on to him from outside the pool to hold him above water.
He grabbed the man because he could not seem to find his way out of the pool. Santayana says he wanted to save the man because he'd want someone to do the same if it were him.
Just kind of put yourself in that situation and how you would want another person to react if it was, your daughter or your son or something like that. Like, you'd want them to try to do as much as they could.
He says first responders made it to the scene quickly, but his fight or flight instincts kicked in. In Port Lavaca, Darius McCormick, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
The Supreme Court is weighing arguments in a pair of cases that could change how social media companies have operated for decades. At issue are Republican-backed laws in Florida and Texas that seek to restrict social media companies from banning or censoring users because of their political views. Both laws were passed in 2021, the same year that Donald Trump was banned from Facebook and Twitter for his handling of the January 6th attack at the Capitol. The eventual ruling could lead to further litigation in lower courts as to whether the laws should be blocked. Both are currently on hold with a ruling expected by June. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, should social media companies be allowed to block political views? Okay, let's take a look. 29% of you say yes, and 71% of you say no. Thank you for taking part in today's viewer poll. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Victoria County Commissioners in Precinct 3 have quite the staying power. Plus, Michigan will hold its primary election today, making it the last early state to vote before Super Tuesday.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, followed by your weather and health forecast. And later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at the timing of the cold front coming our way tomorrow morning. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If y'all tuning in with us this morning, you're looking live in Cuero, where it's still pretty cloudy out there this morning. In fact, you might see just a tad bit of light fog out there on your screen. Really light though, so nothing concerning. It is kind of purple there. Kaylin is talking kind of purple. Look at that. As the sun's coming up, exposing that pretty purple sky. Absolutely. But with that purple, nice sky, you've got a nice temperature to go with it. Y'all might want to get outside and enjoy this before it gets too warm today, because we got another warm and humid day coming our way. All that before the cold front arrives tomorrow morning. But if you're sitting your kiddos at the door, it's going to be just like it is right now. About 68 with some clouds, quite humid and also a little bit breezy as well. And that's going to continue all day, getting up to 84 this afternoon, while people in the west, they could see close to 90. And also windy as well this afternoon and tomorrow as well. But with the windy conditions today, your tree pollen's going to be high. Grass pollen's going to be moderate as that's starting to grow with the spring coming back. And UV also moderate to high today as well. But after that cold front arrives, it's going to be in the 60s for just a couple days before we warm right back to the 80s. And we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. That's it for your weather. Let's talk with Zach with sports.
Last week, we had an area coach receive quite the honor, and he also brought Victoria East their first ever state championship last year. We are talking about the Region 5 Powerlifting Coach of the Week, Marcus Hernandez, who we were able to catch up with yesterday afternoon on his big accomplishment.
The hard work and all the long hours that I've been putting in, like it's kind of been showing off and recognized by everybody else. I spend probably more time here than I do at home. And you know, whenever you invest in so much, it's good to see you kind of reap the benefits of what you've been putting in.
And while his team's trying to go back-to-back in state titles, his message, just get better every week. What a year for basketball here in Victoria. The East Titans, the ladies that is, made a deep playoff push, and the West Warriors, both teams had all district selections. MVP of the district, Sanaya Randall. Victoria East also had another selection in Cameron Jackson. She was sixth man of the year. Victoria West, a young team trending in the right direction and have a nice young talent that could be a cornerstone for their future. That is Isaiah Morgan with the Newcomer of the Year award. Also, it is regional quarter day. Good luck to the Edna Cowboys and the Goliad Tigers. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Primary day in Michigan. Both Republicans and Democrats are voting to choose their candidate. President Biden and former President Trump are expected to win, but there are concerns in the Democratic Party about a protest vote against Biden.
Today, a critical test for President Joe Biden in Michigan.
We need to show President Biden and all the other candidates that we support Palestine.
The president expected to face backlash from some Democratic voters for his early unconditional support of Israel in its war against Hamas after the October 7th attack.
Muslim American community, our message, yes, indeed, February 27th in Michigan, we are voting uncommitted.
Voting uncommitted is seen as a protest vote against the president. His stance on the war has shifted. Earlier this month, Biden calling Israel's response over the top.
A lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop.
In the 2020 general election, Biden narrowly won Michigan, a key state in winning him the White House.
If a sizable portion of the Democratic electorate here in Michigan votes uncommitted during the primary, that will be a 5-alarm fire for the White House.
I worship God and I serve the people.
Biden continues to face protests across the country. Protesters were detained in New York City yesterday as Biden announces he hopes to have a ceasefire in Gaza by Monday.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet.
But the hope of a ceasefire appears to be too late to persuade voters in Michigan.
Knowing that there are tens of thousands of individuals in Michigan who are planning on withholding their votes not only in the upcoming November election, and that poses the idea that a threat like Donald Trump can once again resume office. And so the question should be to the president, what will he do to prevent that unraveling of our democracy?
Over on the Republican side, polls show Nikki Haley trailing former President Trump by more than 50 points. Haley is staying in the race, saying Trump does not have enough support to beat Biden in November. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Victoria County Commissioners in Precinct 3 have had quite the longevity when it comes to elected leaders. Just 4 County commissioners have served Precinct 3 since 1930. Gary Burns, the current Precinct 3 commissioner, has held the seat for 20 years. Before Burns, John Hammock held the seat for close to 40 years.
You know, once we get in it, we find out, you know, you can do a lot of good, and we enjoy our work. I'm sure I've talked to Hammock. Hell, I still call him once in a while for advice, but it's a rewarding job.
Says he will miss serving the citizens of Precinct 3. He plans to retire once the new Precinct 3 commissioner takes over the position. The Victoria Fire Marshal's office is undergoing some staffing changes. Fire Marshal Richard Castillo says Michael Carbajal, the department's aviation rescue fireman, will take a position outside the area. To cover this loss, Assistant Fire Marshal Michael Frazier will take over the position. Frazier will still work in the front office, which is his original position. Other staff will help cover areas while this transition takes place.
And we're really fortunate to have the personnel that we have that are willing to move positions, rechange their schedules in order to meet the needs of our department.
Castillo says response time to fires and other needs will remain strong. The staffing changes will go into effect toward the end of March. The time is now 6:46 on our Tuesday morning. Still ahead. In Florida, the Department of Health sounding the alarm on a measles outbreak.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. I hope y'all have been enjoying and loving all that beautiful warm weather we've had all last week and even the last couple days. But we do have a couple more systems coming our way, and that actually lead us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks, do you think we will have one more big cool down before the real warm spring begins? Take a look at what y'all saying. About 85% of y'all, I think it's 2% higher than the last half hour, are saying yes, you do think there's going to be one more, and 15% of you say no, you do not. You think the spring is already here. I'm actually kind of right there with y'all. But to vote on today's weather poll and future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather to participate and see what everybody else says as well. Now, looking at yesterday, we got to 83 degrees. It was warm and humid all day yesterday. Started at 63 in the morning, but we are much warmer this morning. All of us right around 70 right now, giving us a warmer day than yesterday. Here in Crossroads, probably get about 84, but the further out west you go, especially out near the border, they're near 100 degrees down there. But a little further out west here on the Crossroads, y'all might reach near 90 today. Very warm and humid day today, but that's all going to change tomorrow as the cold front arrives tomorrow morning. Looking at your dew points map here, dew points in the 60s until that cold front arrives. That is very humid, folks. But until that cold front arrives tomorrow morning, right between 8 to 9, dropping our dew points back into the 30s and even the 20s. So we're going to dry up quite a bit. But after that cold front arrives, we're going to be at a low temperature tomorrow morning at 67. But the high temperature only rising about 2 or 3 degrees after that front arrives tomorrow. But we'll take a look at that and the next system coming next week and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. In Florida, the Department of Health sounding the alarm on a measles outbreak after 2 more children were diagnosed on Sunday. The outbreak is happening in Broward County, where there are at least 8 cases. The 2 newest, one child between 5 and 9 years old, the other younger than 5, did not attend public school in the county. The district says these cases follow 6 students at one elementary school contracting measles. Last week, the Florida Surgeon General sent a controversial letter to parents allowing them to send unvaccinated children to school amid the outbreak. Health officials say the decision should be up to parents or guardians about school attendance. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says unvaccinated children exposed to measles should stay home for 21 days. On Monday, there were more than 200 absences at the school, which reported the 6 measles cases. The husband of a doctor who died after eating at a restaurant at Disney World is suing the park and eatery. The doctor ate at Raglan Road Irish Pub and Restaurant with her husband in October last year. The lawsuit alleges a waiter guaranteed certain foods could be made allergen-free. According to the filing, after the family ate there, the doctor experienced difficulty breathing and collapsed. A medical examiner's investigation cited the victim died from an allergic reaction, noting elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system, items she has severe allergies to. The family is seeking at least $50,000 in damages as part of Florida's Wrongful Death Act, along with damages for pain and suffering. Still to come on Sunrise News to Know Before You Go. A judge has now ordered a former FBI informant who's charged with providing false claims about the Biden family to be held until his trial. Breaking news for you this morning. A letter containing an unidentified white powder was delivered to the home of Donald Trump Jr. in Florida on Monday. The letter prompted a response from emergency crews, including a hazmat team. A spokesperson for the former president's son confirmed the incident, saying that test results to identify the white substance were inconclusive, but that officials on the scene did not believe it was deadly. According to the Associated Press, Donald Trump Jr. opened the letter in his home office along with the white substance. It also contained a death threat. The Palm Beach Sheriff's Office is investigating the matter in conjunction with the U.S. Secret Service. Early voting continues in the March 5th primary, and the numbers so far look like this. 366 people voted in person early yesterday, 2001 total votes so far, 178 mail-in votes received yesterday, a total of 871 mail-in votes so far. And early voting in the primary election continues through Friday. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. all days. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center. That's at 2805 North Navarro. A judge has now ordered a former FBI informant who is charged with providing false claims about the Biden family to be held until his trial. Alexander Smirnov was rearrested over concerns that he's a flight risk because of his access to Russian intelligence and millions of dollars. At a hearing in LA yesterday, Smirnov was ordered detained until his trial begins. Attorneys for Smirnov say they intend to appeal that decision. The defense arguing he should go free because he's a first-time nonviolence offender and he has no intention of fleeing. The judge saying there's nothing garden variety about this case. Prosecutors argue he has a number of foreign contacts and access to millions of dollars that make him a flight risk. Smirnov has pled not guilty. Officials with the Houston Police Department released this body camera footage. Just a warning, the video you are about to see, that you're seeing right now, is graphic. The moments show when a shooter opened fire at Lakewood Church in Houston earlier this month. 36-year-old Janice Moreno is seen walking into the church wearing a trench coat and armed with an AR-style rifle with her 7-year-old. People can be seen running as gunshots are fired. Moreno tells officers that she has a bomb as they exchange gunfire. She also yells that they shot her child. Moreno was eventually shot by police and pronounced dead on scene. Police still trying to determine her motive and to learn more about how she obtained the AR-style rifle she used. Few organizations track the number of individuals with a disability trying to access abortion, but abortion providers and groups that help assist Texans obtain out-of-state abortions say they are falling through the cracks. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's take another look at our viewer poll. Today we asked you, should social media companies be allowed to block political views? Okay, let's see. 28% of you say yes, they should be. And 72% of you say no, they should not. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. Let's take a look at that beautiful sunrise with Parker.
Thanks, Carolina. Good morning, folks. Yes, you were looking at a nice, pretty sunrise. Not as pretty as we usually see because the clouds were hanging on to us this morning, giving us a nice and warm temperature out there. Right now, about 72 degrees down there on the coast of Port Lavaca. But with the dew point, it's 4 degrees off of the temperature. You have an 88% humidity with your winds blowing 15 miles an hour sustained. At south, it's like a little bit breezy, but it's going to be breezy all day today. We'll look at that in just a second. But look at your temperatures right now. All of us waking up to that nice, lovely temperature near 70 degrees. But with that warm temperature this morning, we're going to warm up to a nice hot day today. Out west, y'all could get up to near 90 degrees today. And we're going to drop back to the 60s tonight until that cold front comes tomorrow morning. And we're only warming up to the upper 60s tomorrow. But look at those wind gusts today. It's going to be a bit of a breezy day today and tomorrow as well. Gusts today probably right around 30 miles an hour. And after that cold front arrives tomorrow morning, right between 8 to 9 a.m., we're going to have gusts around 40 miles an hour tomorrow. It's going to be a breezy day tomorrow. Make sure to secure your plants. But coming our way after the cold front arrives, dropping back to the 60s for just a couple of days. And then after the southerly winds return late this week, we're warming right back to the 80s.
All right, Parker, thank you for that forecast.
Of course, Carolina.
And thank y'all for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crosswords Today, and join Karina, Don, Mac, and Zach today for 25 News at 5, 6, and 10.